On the first part of this series, we talked about accommodation, also known as housing, shopping, the high cost of grocery prices, limited banking options, the weather, and so much more. These are some of the things people take into consideration and ask themselves before they think about moving to Nunavut. Today, we'll be discussing the small things that makes life here operate differently from the ones down south. Now, these are the things nobody actually puts in a relocation package. Nobody talks about these things during job interviews. And these are the things that makes you sit and say, "Oh, this place actually operates differently." And it is truly amazing because some of the things here would make you sit and wonder. And then it is not funny until they start happening to you. Hello, guys. Welcome back to Grace and Grit with Queen, where we grow, we learn, and we share life experiences people don't always prepare you for. If you're new here, this channel is all about faith, personal growth, real life experiences, and the reality of life in Northern Canada and beyond. If you've not yet watched the part 1 and 2 of this series, I would suggest you start from there because this entire series built itself on that. But if you already watched it, then you're welcome back. On today's episode, we'll be discussing something very specific. Some of the things we'll share today are things you might have heard before or pondering about. Hold on with me till the end. Let's begin with something a lot of people take for granted. Technology. There are no big tech stores here like Apple, Samsung, the Best Buys, and everything you can imagine. We don't have any big tech stores in Iqaluit. We don't even have that anywhere in Nunavut. Some people want to travel and say, "Oh, when I get there, I'll just walk into an Apple store and purchase a phone and everything." My dear, we do not have that luxury in Nunavut. Not as of yet. Maybe in the future. We don't have that luxury where people sit and say, "Oh, Apple is launching a new electronical device and I want to walk in and see what I want to purchase." Or I don't know what I want this time. I don't know the kind of upgrade I'm looking for. But surely when I get into the store, I'm going to choose. Up here, you better start preparing your mind on always ordering ahead of time. Place your orders online. That is actually the operator's Monday of things here in the north. Now, this doesn't mean we don't have some local stores that can sell basic items like chargers or other form of gadgets. We do have these stores. Now, these are retail stores and not the usual wholesale big stores that you're fond of having in the south. So, if you plan on coming here, it's better you visit your favorite tech store ahead of time before making that move. Or if you're the kind of person who has no limitation with ordering things online, then you are welcome. This next one shocked me right upon arrival. Now, just a background story. When I got here, I had to walk around the town and deposit my CV in some places. Then when I got to a certain building, they told me, "Oh, go to the brown building. I heard they're hiring there." And I was lost. Like, what is the brown building though? Or is it a place? Is it a person? Is it the name of a street? Guess what, guys? Here, people don't call places by their street names. Like someone will say in the south, "Oh, I'm going to Pineapple Street 1X02. No, no, no. Here it operates differently. People call places here by colors, building numbers, and just by a general location as it is known for. Someone will say, "I'm going to Lower Plateau. I'm going to Upper Plateau. I'm going to Apex. I'm going to building 0000." And you'll be shocked and looking at them like, "Oh, this is strange." Welcome to Nunavut, where everything seems different. That is how it works here. The most interesting part is even the local taxi drivers understand this concept, and you would actually never get lost because apparently everybody knows exactly that building color in that location they are sending you to. Funny, isn't it? But don't worry, you would adapt, and one day you would wake up giving directions exactly as the way it was given to you on your first day of arrival. You get used to it. The North is sweet and sour in its own way. It's just different, and until you live it, you would have no comments, but exceptional ones, of course. Another thing newcomers often notice almost immediately when they get here, there are no big public city highways. You know, those big highways that you have in Toronto, you have anywhere you're located in Canada. We really don't have that luxury here. What's of it all? We don't even have trains, subways, and name them. We don't have metros like those that are in Montreal would say. But then, like I mentioned in my previous videos, local taxis here operate quite well and they are so reliable and dependable. That's the way around for most of us without vehicles. As of recent times, Iqaluit now has a bus. It operates at some specific hours, and I think the fare varies by age group, which is quite interesting because that update was unexpected. Now, before you panic and say, oh, there are no metros, how will I cope? How will I survive? How will I get to work on time? Remember, the distances here are not as long and lengthy as the ones you'd have in the south or in those big cities. So you might as well just go by foot. For those of you who like trekking for your physical health, you might equally choose to get a taxi, or probably you might choose to get your own vehicle. And this takes us to our next point. Now, let me tell you something that might become your greatest life lesson in Nunavut. Planning ahead becomes your new way of life, or let's say your upgraded lifestyle. The South teaches convenience, the North teaches preparation, and that applies for a lot of things. Now, we do have very long periods of winter and short periods of summer. That means it's not all the time that what you're seeking for or that luxury you might feel as having at any time can be available for you. As we previously discussed, if you are one of those who doesn't feel comfortable trekking, walking around on foot, you'd want to obtain your own vehicle. And that puts something in mind, right? Cargo services. Remember, I told you to master cargo services very well because these services will be helpful for those of you who intend bringing your cars to Nunavut, and they operate differently and during a specific and limited period of time. I think it's usually between the periods of July to about September ending. Sea leaves as well. Those are some of the things people usually use here when they want to ship food items, clothing, household furniture, or they are moving or whatever it is they want to do. So if you're one of those who intends to get to Iqaluit or intends to get to Nunavut and use your vehicle you had down south, remember that your car can only be shipped here during a limited period of time, and you only will be blamed for that if you cannot have that luxury. And honestly, after living in the North for a while, you become incredibly organized and well structured. This makes you to plan weeks and weeks ahead for anything you might need during your stay here. Now, let's talk about the fun part. Because some people think, oh, in Nunavut there are no fun activities, there's actually nothing to do here. My dear, you don't have the right information. Someone once said information is key, and if you hold information, it means you hold a valuable piece of jewel. Indoor activities in the North become a lifestyle for most of us that have chosen to live here. The North has a strong community recreation culture. This favors both those that are here and those that are coming here. Due to the fact that we have long periods of winter, most of our activities are indoors, but that does not withstand the fact that during the summer, people do have some fun activities out in the plains, like softball. I have a couple of friends that have invited me for that. You equally have soccer and some other activities that can be interesting. But even if these activities are not usually outdoor but indoor, they just switch places. There are a lot of youth recreational
For those
programs.
of you
that would want to know, Iqaluit has one youth recreational facility. They offer a wide range of youth recreational activities, and sometimes they have facilitators that come to train these kids or youth in different activities which they would love. It could be a cultural activity, it could just be another type of game that would be interesting for the kids. And to be honest, age group matters. So you'd want to drop in and have the right informations. The staff there are quite friendly. So informations that you're looking for will not be hard to come by. And honestly, these activities become very important. They help people stay active. They help people make friends. And above it all, they help newcomers feel welcome in the society. And that is the one thing about northern communities, is that people genuinely show up for each other. Something that having down south seems a bit difficult because everybody is busy chasing the dollar bill. Dropping down to something that would make noise for our next episode are the opportunities that we find in the North. As we know, the North has a lot of opportunities, be it for those that want to be entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, be it for those who are looking for government jobs, or those that are just looking for a different environment to explore. There are a lot of different options here. And the question just becomes, do you know the right door to knock when these opportunities seems mouth-watering, but then you have to have the right information? Interestingly, you can apply for a job in Nunavut even if you're out of the province. Now, the only thing you'd want to remind yourself and be very careful about is to find out if your job comes with subsidized staff housing, or if it doesn't, how are you going to go about it? And then for those of you that are still, let's say, students in your final year, or you're taking an online course and you think, oh, I don't think I would make it because my online course, I need internet and all whatnot. Up here, we have everything you would need. It's quiet, it's calm, it's a good study environment for those who like a solo lifestyle. You can be able to still operate with your online school and still have a good job. Now, coming to the interesting part, internet connection here flows very well. For the most part, we do use Starlink for our monthly internet connection, which is what I use when I'm home, and then my local subscriber equally operates. Maintaining your online job when you come up north is simple if you have internet connection, because here things have evolved. It's not like back in the days where these struggles were really real. Not disregarding any, but as of recent times, I think most things are beginning to stabilize themselves in the north. So you can see life in Nunavut isn't just different because of the weather. It's different because everyday life works differently. The north teaches you patience, planning, adaptability, community, and over time, the things that once felt unusual slowly becomes normal. If you have enjoyed this episode, do not hesitate to like and subscribe to Grace and Grit with Queen. And then please share this video to someone that intends moving to Nunavut. Tell me in the comments section, what are some of the things that shocked you about Nunavut? Until then, stay grounded, stay growing. This was Grace and Grit with Queen, and I will see you again on our next episode. Bye.